Good morning, everyone. Pastor Tommy McMurtry from Liberty Baptist Church here. Just wanted to come live this morning and make a quick video, just kind of putting some challenges out there for soul winners. A lot of people wondering what to do in the current situation when it comes to soul winning, when a lot of places are kind of going on lockdown and they're doing pushing everything they can to just keep us from intermingling with each other, stopping gatherings. And so there's a question, should we even be going door to door during times like this, which is typically what we do. And it's real easy when stuff like this happens to just kind of start pounding your chest and saying we're ready to defy the government and we're not changing anything. It's real easy to do that, but sometimes there are reasons to maybe adapt a little bit. Sometimes we might need to change things up a little bit. And I just wanted to make this video because I know there's a lot of pastors that are making some difficult decisions right now. And I'll admit, even with myself, not always with the greatest confidence in what needs to be done, just because of the fact that we are in kind of uncharted territory. Now, obviously, the principles of the Bible, they work in every situation and something we ought to be looking to. But this is what we're seeing right now with this outbreak, a new situation that none of us have ever dealt with before. So tough decisions are being made. We're going to make some mistakes, and that's fine. I'm going to be preaching on Sunday about navigating through new territory, which is what I think is going on. Some really good principles there I want to show from the scriptures that will help us during this time. But what should we do? And I really want to use this situation because I think what we see going on right now illustrates something that I've been trying to teach for a long time. I preached in a message a while back about the ministers of the Spirit versus the ministers of the letter. And if you haven't heard that message, I'll leave a link in the video or the description after this is done so you can go listen to it. But I believe there's two kinds of soul winners that are out there right now. You've got those who are soul winning in the flesh, and you've got those who are soul winning in the Spirit. Now, how do we tell the difference? That is what can often be difficult. And I think we're going to be able to find out and see during times like this. Let me read a couple verses to you, though, on this subject. It says in 2 Corinthians 3:6, who also hath made us able ministers of the New Testament, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter killeth, but the Spirit giveth life. In other words, when we go to the letter of the law, we've all failed, we've all messed up, and it kills us, it condemns us. The letter of the law kills us. Romans 7:6 says, for now we are delivered from the law, that being dead wherein we were held, that we should serve in the newness of spirit and not in the oldness of the letter. So thankfully, we're not held to the letter of the law because we'd all be condemned, but we do things now in the newness of the Spirit. We do these things in liberty. We do these things out of love for God. And so to illustrate soul winners who soul win in the flesh, this is those who think that the Bible says thou shalt go soul winning door to door every Sunday at 2 p.m. or whatever your church time is, because that's just what you've been doing for the past 10 years, 20 years, whatever, and you ain't changing. That's that minister of the letter. And we ain't changing nothing. We don't care about no virus. The Lord will protect us. The Lord ain't going to let us, carry no diseases when we're trying to carry the gospel. We've got faith that it's all going to work out, and we're not going to let the government try to stop us from what we're doing. Well, here's another thing I think everybody needs to understand about this. The government's not targeting churches, okay? Folks, Las Vegas has shut down their casinos for the next 30 days. Now, first off, I think that's wonderful. But second of all, that's insane. They have shut down sports in this country. I mean, probably one of the main gods of this country is sports, and that has been shut down. So, folks, they're not targeting churches right now. You need to get over yourself. That's not what this is about. Obviously, they think it's serious. Now, so I don't trust them. I don't believe them. And I get it. The government has earned the lack of trust that we have for them. I get it, but at the same time, we don't know what's going on. Okay, I'm a pastor. I'm supposed to know everything, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's telling the truth. I don't know what the truth is in this situation. And I don't. In Psalm 116:11, it says, In my haste, I said, all men are liars. We don't want to have that attitude. We don't want to just write everything off as a lie, because at the end of the day, we don't know. We don't know if we're going to be spreading this thing around, if we're going door to door. We don't know these things, so we got to be careful. And so we don't want to be that soul winner that's in the flesh, that's just got a routine. We've got our way that we've always done things, and we're not changing anything. We need to be those who are doing it in the Spirit. Now, who's that soul winner that's doing things in the Spirit? Because some people are just soul winning because that's just what everybody does. That's just, what they've always done. That's real easy to follow. It's real easy to be a soul winner on your checklist, and then every Sunday, every Saturday say, cross that off. I did that. I'm a good Christian now. Any of us can do that. That's easy to do. But the soul winner in the Spirit, he's got more of the everyday, everywhere, everyone attitude. Some of the best soul winners are people who they're just witnessing all the time. They know how to strike up conversations with people. And folks, right now, one thing I've been amazed at in our area, folks, I live in Illinois. We're not friendly. In Illinois, people don't talk to each other. In Illinois, people go on their way. You smile at somebody, you wave at somebody, you try talking to somebody, they give you a dirty look. But folks, that's not happening right now. When I'm out in the stores, when I'm out in public, I'm talking to more people than ever. People are talking to me. People have actually been friendly. You know why? Because people are kind of bored right now. People are kind of cooped up and feeling isolated, and they want to talk, they want to communicate, and these are great opportunities. But you know what? The reason some of you have a problem with this is because you striking up conversations with people, you using the everyday, everywhere, everyone method, that is you stepping out of your comfort zone. And see, I'm completely comfortable at a set time going door to door. I've been doing that for years. I'm comfortable with that. But sometimes difficult situations, sometimes when we're in a crisis, we have to get out of our comfort zone. And I would encourage you to do that right now. Be willing to get out of your comfort zone. Okay? And be willing to follow the lead of your pastor. He might ask you to do some things that are different. That's not what you're used to. That's not what you've always done. Get out of your comfort zone and go ahead and try something new. We've got to be adaptable. Because the reason we do door-to-door soul winning in our church, yes, we see them going everywhere and from house to house in the Bible, but ultimately the reason we do it, it's not a command that's the only way to witness to people. It's because it's effective. It's a good method. It works. It's successful. But if we're at a time when they're trying to quarantine people or people are trying to isolate themselves, it might not be the best way to do it for now. So what we do? We adapt. Because I do believe the Great Commission is still in effect. But we might need to get a little bit creative. We might have to step out of our comfort zone. And those who do things in the flesh are not willing to do that. Those who are doing it in the Spirit, they're willing to do whatever they've got to do. Those who save with fear pulling them out of the fire, they don't mind getting out of their comfort zone and doing what needs to be done. And that's the attitude I think we need to have right now. But some of you are stuck on the letter. You're stuck on the time, the method, mainly because it's in your comfort zone, but also it's just because you're just following the letter. It's not the Spirit. You're like, there's many children who come to church, okay? They're children, they're little kids. They come to churches because that's what mommy and daddy does. They're copying mom and dad. They sit still in church, they listen to preaching because that's what mom and dad does. That's what they've been told to do. But they don't know why they're doing it. And it's the hope of every parent that one day they will do it for the right reason, that they will understand, and that they will want to do it. And some of you, you're going soul winning because that's what everybody in the church is doing. And that's good. You're doing the right thing. If you're following the letter, you're doing a good thing, but it's better to do it in the Spirit, because if you're following the letter, eventually you're going to quit. And a lot of the people that are out there pounding their chest right now and acting all hardcore and ready to go defy the government, you haven't even been doing this for 5 years or 10 years or anything like that. You've been doing this for a very short time, and you just need to chill out a little bit. Sometimes we got to adapt. Jesus said in Luke 14:3, we see, says, and Jesus answering spake unto the lawyers and Pharisees, saying, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath day? And they held their peace, and he took him and healed him and let him go. And he answered them, saying, which of you shall have an ass or an ox fallen into a pit, and will not straightway pull him out on the Sabbath day? That's a lot of work. And notice what they said, and they could not answer him again to these things. Notice Jesus said, all of you would pull your ox or your ass out of a pit on the Sabbath day. Why? Because necessity demands it. Okay. Now the letter says, don't work on the Sabbath day. But I don't think there's any doubt. In fact, it's not even in the law that you were allowed to do that. Yet at the same time, Jesus makes it pretty clear it's fine. Why? It's a common sense thing. And so just like we've often canceled church services because of snowstorms and blizzards, because of dangerous conditions, and canceled soul winning for things like that, that may be what we need to do right now. And you can go ahead and tell me that you don't think this is a dangerous situation, but at the end of the day, you don't know. Just like we've, churches have canceled soul winning or canceled services because of a severe weather forecast that never happened. We might cancel some things because of a severe pandemic outbreak that may never happen. Either way, I don't think those churches are in sin when they did that. They're being cautious. They're trying to protect people. And you got a lot of pastors that are out there too that are so stuck on the letter. They'll put their people in danger when it comes to going to church in bad weather, expect them to do that, and then they'll like not forsaking the assembly, as if they were giving up going to church because of a blizzard or because they didn't want to get sick or trying to avoid spreading an outbreak. These people are carnal. They are stuck on the letter. They are not doing things in the Spirit. And so I believe we ought to do things according to the Spirit. And so you might have to get creative. You might have to step out of your comfort zone. It's times like these too that help us understand and reevaluate ourselves and maybe see where we are lacking in our life. And one thing I've noticed, I've made phone calls to several elderly people that attend our church. And one of the things I've realized just from doing that is that, elderly people, they tend to get lonely. And I think they especially are now because people are being told, don't visit the elderly. Well, you know what? We need to call them up. We need to talk to these people. We can be a blessing if you have elderly family that are lost, or if you have elderly neighbors, people that this would be a good time to call them, and maybe they'll be more willing to listen during a time like this. But you say, well, that's not my routine. Exactly. You got to get out of your comfort zone. But some of you out there that are hardcore soul winners, you don't know anybody to call. You're real good at doing your routine that you're comfortable with of going door to door, giving your spiel, and then moving on. But you've never even learned how to connect with anybody. You don't know a single old person that you can call and be a blessing to right now. You don't know a single individual out there that might already struggle with depression and loneliness, maybe even a younger person. You don't know anybody. You've never connected with anybody. You're not going soul winning because you're just wanting to see people saved and change people's lives. You're doing it to mark it off your checklist. And right now is a great opportunity that we have to get to some of these people. And so I think we ought to do some stuff like that. I think you need to be ready to adapt and get creative. And I'm interested in hearing creative ways to be a witness during this time. A lot of people are spending a lot of time on social media right now. You know what? Share videos, share the plan of salvation. And not only that, why don't you go and message these people? Strike up a conversation with them. Use things like Google Hangouts and FaceTime, all these things that we have at our disposal. We have a great opportunity here to see many people saved, but we might have to adapt a little bit. And the last thing we need is a rebellion of a bunch of punks who are demanding we're going to defy the government or we're going to do things the way that we've always done it and just pound their chest and act like they're all hardcore. No, you need to do things in the Spirit. If that's you, if you're doing it that way, you're doing it by the letter, and folks, you're not going to last. Some of us have been doing this for years and years, and we will continue doing it the rest of our lives. Those of you who are running your mouth, you've probably not even been doing this 5 years. So you need to chill out. You need to go ahead and take this time to reevaluate yourself. check yourself and say, you know what? I can see areas where I'm lacking right now. I'm not a friendly person. I don't talk to people out in public. I'm like a person from Illinois that just gives them a dirty look if somebody starts talking to me. No, people are wanting people to talk to right now. They want to talk about the stuff that's going on. This is a great opportunity. So I just say all this to say, you know what? Be supportive during this time. Your pastors are making tough decisions about church services, about soul winning, and this is not the time to beat them over the head with a letter. If you do that, you are revealing your carnality, is what you're doing. Now is the time to be spiritual and to do things in the Spirit and to follow the leading of the Holy Spirit and understand that in difficult times and during a crisis, some things are going to change a little bit, but the principles never change. The Great Commission hasn't changed. It's just maybe how we do things for a short time have changed. So I would encourage you to get creative. And you know what? If you've got a creative idea on ways to be a help and a blessing, I would encourage you, maybe leave a suggestion in the comment or, make videos yourself. Post something on Facebook about that. I think one of the best things people could do right now to help things for the better is call up the elderly. Don't go visit them. Call them up, talk to them on the phone. Your grandparents, maybe your parents if they're elderly, or elderly people from your church, they're lonely. You can be a great blessing to them. We've seen a lot of the evil in our country. We have seen people being greedy. We have seen them in great fear and panic. We're seeing a lot of the worst of our country right now. And it's time for God's people to step up and say, we're going to show the best. We're going to do acts of kindness. We're going to think about the elderly. We're going to think about those that are lonely, that struggle with mental issues and things, and just try to be a blessing right now. Call them up during a time when they're probably feeling very isolated and lonely. We're going to be generous during this time. We're not going to be hoarding food and hoarding toilet paper. We're going to be sharing during times like this. We're going to be helping people during times like this. That's the kind of thing that you need to start doing, and not just for the people you know. Like Jesus said, you're going to do it for others, people who can't do anything in return. That's where you're going to get your opportunities to be a witness. Every day, everywhere, everyone, that needs to be your attitude right now. And so anyway, just some challenges out there. I really hope you will take this to heart, and I hope that you are a soul winner in the Spirit and not just in the letter. So anyway, I hope this was a blessing to you. God bless you, and we will see you all later.